welcome to the bench. We're here, I need to sharpen all of my chisels. I just went through one, I tried to freehand it, I screwed it up, so we're back to my Veritas honing jig, and I'll show you how to set that up kind of briefly. I don't want to go too far in detail, and then we're just going to sharpen because it relaxes me. So the first thing, I do have all the accessories, but I'm only going to talk about the standard setup for regular chisels and plain blades. So you've got this nice wide clamp, and then you'll see it's got 3 settings. You can loosen this knob and slide it forwards and back, and that locks in place and references the numbers on this guide. So red, green, and yellow correspond, and it helps you set your bevel. I do the primary bevel on all of my chisels at 30. Yeah, 30 degrees, and then a secondary bevel with this to about like 32 and a half, I believe is what the setting is. And that kind of gives you a good all around in hard and softwood, so you're not re-beveling your chisels all the time. Every time for each different project you're working on. Some people will say you should do that. If I were getting really crazy, I might agree, but most of the time, when I just need to grab a chisel quick, I'm gonna sharpen it at that angle. So, that being said, I have an extra coarse diamond plate in case I need to do some real work, and then I have in the box, brand new, a 1000 6000 King Waterstone. And now this is a brand new one that I've been sitting waiting on because I've been soaking this one. Alright, first I'm going to flatten the back, and then just to see where I'm making progress, I am just going to mark the edge here with Sharpie. Go ahead. And yep, you'll see that all the red that I put on there is gone, so that means that my back is nice and flat. And just because I want to, I'll flip it over and give it a little hone on the 6000. So that's pretty good. And well, I'm going to let that soak for a little bit more so we can check our bevel. I'll show you how to get the bevel set up. The first thing you're going to do is take your guide, slide it on here, and then there are some other indicators to talk about the width of the chisel. So if you set it like this is 1.5, yeah, it's kind of like there. You want to get your chisel roughly centered in the clamp. And then mine's already set to I'm on the yellow setting, so I'm already set to 30 degrees. I take my chisel and slide it through the, gotta loosen it up a little bit. Slide it through the gauge, the clamp. You want to make sure when you have the whole thing flipped over that your bevel is facing up at you, otherwise you're going to sharpen it wrong. Set it to the stop and then tighten it down. And then a really important part with this roller is to make sure that your camber setting, your dial indicator is pointing up, because the one that I did prior to this, I started trying to establish my primary bevel with it set down, and that doesn't work so well. Now you can loosen up that, take your offsetter aside, and go ahead and come back. And I'm going to do, well, I am just doing the primary or the secondary bevel, which should speed up sharpening, so I am going to go ahead and set that camber adjustment. I'll set it just like this. Normally I do this standing up so that the handle of my chisel doesn't punch me in the face. And I hope you can hear this. I love the sound of the 1000 grit stone cutting. You can actually really hear it in action. done a pretty good job establishing our bevel. Flip it over, get a little more water, and hone it on the 6000. And we're getting there. We're starting to get a little bit of mirror shine to come through, so we're going to keep going. In case anyone's wondering, this is a set of the new Stanley 750 Sweethearts. They're pretty nice chisels for the price. We are almost there. And this is where you start to decide how sharp you want your chisels. Do you want them functionally sharp, or do you want them scary sharp? And, you know, really depends. The sharper the better. Though I will say I sliced myself pretty good the other day doing something dumb. But it was nice because it was a sharp chisel and it just cut instead of tearing anything. I didn't even feel it until I started bleeding. It was pretty fantastic. Have a mirror all the way across. Too far into it to stop now. We gotta keep going. Alright, there it is. Mirror all the way across. Now the other thing that I like to do, just to make sure that you don't wind up in a situation where you just get flash rust or corrosion again, take a little bit of WD-40, which stands for water displacement. In case anybody didn't know that, WD-40 just displaces water. It is not a lubricant. I don't care what it says. If you over WD-40 things, you will just attract more dirt to them. So go ahead and wipe it down. Loosen this up. Slide your chisel out, and then you might have raised a little bit of a burr on the back, so you can come back in, do a quick flatten. Quick hone on the back edge, and now you have a nice razor sharp chisel. And then after I've done a little WD-40, I also use, this is the same thing I put on my table, on the top of my table saw. It's CRC Technical Grade 336 Multi-Purpose Precision Lubricant. This, I think it was Fine Woodworking, did a test and found that this was the best product on the market right now for rust protection. So I'll just go ahead, I'll spray that on my rag and wipe the chisel in it. And find another spot and just buff it down a bit. So, there you go. That's how to use the Veritas honing jig.